Hello and welcome back to Littleton Model Railway, and it's been a couple of years since I last gave a layout tour. So a lot's changed since the last layout update, which was about 2 years ago. It's crazy to think it's been that long, and also not as much as I would like to have happened has happened. But we'll start from this end and I'll give you a tour and go around what we currently have. Starting off with the dead end. As this is a dead end, it's mostly used for storage of tools and bits and bobs at the moment, which is just natural. New to the collection, there is my Class 47 Bath Bristol Road. That's out of era. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to buy it. Rule 1. We have a couple of dead ends at the moment here. These are just used for storing trains off scene. We've got the turbo motive here with the Pullman carriages. This is my only fully lit train. You've got lights on the locomotive itself, the firebox flicker, and lights inside the carriages too. And then there's a lovely 8F there that I do need to fit a HM7000 to at some point. Right, as we move on past the clutter, we come to some more clutter. Here, this is my Christmas present. It's the Hornby Scaled L coal drop, and it is a fantastic match for the coal drop that used to exist at Bath Green Parks. Looks very similar to it, so I was very keen that Santa got me that for Christmas. We have my trusty old 3F there, along with the breakdown crane. These make a great pair together as they've got the matching weathering. That looks great with one of the weathered BR Mark 1 coaches next to it. So we move on, and then it comes to my sort of like work area. We're moving past the junction here for the goods yard and the station. Over here we've got that water tower won't stay there, that's gonna be relocated. We've got the signal box. This will be lit at some point. As you can see, I've done an interior. There's lights in there, but it's not wired up, but when that lights up it looks fantastic. That took 12 hours to paint the interior, buying this kit, and it was a nightmare. If you want to see pictures of that, it's on my Instagram account. These are the Dapol Kitmaster. We've got a standard 4 and a schools class, Southern Rail schools class. They're both sort of like experimental weathering, because they're only like £10 make a kit, and they're meant to look like scrapyard locos, a bit like the sort of ones that you'd buy from Hadland's yard. I'm not too keen on how the weathering, the rust has come out on this one. I think that comes down to the fact that this one was done with an airbrush and this one was done with a paintbrush, and I tend to find that stuff with a paintbrush, goes on a bit thicker, doesn't quite cover quite properly. Now we move on to the goods yard. So this station is loosely based on Bitton Station, and again this scaled L goods shed was a good match for it. I have up here, there's the plan for Bitton Station. I've not replicated that, I've just taken inspiration from it. So things are loosely in the correct space with a fewer sidings. There's 2 fewer sidings, and there's no passing loop on the sidings either, but it retains 2 sidings, the goods shed and the head shunt as well. So it has most of the functionality. There in the station we have another new addition to the layout, Cadbury Castle. This locomotive I find quite interesting because it's a ring-filled motor, but the ring-filled motor is not in the tender like every other ring-filled steam locomotive. It is actually in here in the locomotive itself, so it's loco driven with no traction tyres, which is fantastic. It's nicely detailed. It's a very lovely runner, easier to chip than I thought. So when you open it up, the ring-filled motor consumes all this space here, and then there's a massive weight here. Behind the back head there's a very small weight, and if you take that out, it's just big enough to fit a 4-pin chip if you solder it directly to the motor. Then here we've got my Black 5 that I got working. So the issues that this Black 5 had were, firstly, it was swimming in oil, and cleaning it stripped all the finish off, and so I had to refinish it, spray it with the airbrush with some satin varnish, and it came up looking good as new. And you can see there it's got the Pines Express headboards with the matching Pines Express coaches. Now Hornby did a Pines Express that has Combe Martin, a Southern Railways bullied locomotive, and I wasn't particularly fussed about having a locomotive, and it just so happened on eBay somebody was selling the train pack with the actual engine missing. So I got the carriages and the headboard and stuff for a reasonable price, and I've paired it up with a Black 5 because Black 5s used to pull the Pines Express. In fact, lots of locomotives pulled the Pines Express, including Castle classes, 2Ps, Battle of Britain classes. Not sure if a Britannia did, I think it may have done. Some further work has come on the station here. So the goods yard is now mostly laid. We have an area where we can actually start posing some people and some vans and whatnot. Here we've got a few little guys who are busy doing whatever the heck it is that they're doing, I don't know. And a few vans, it's just there to look pretty. This here is a Dapol, another Dapol kit, but this one's actually on the layout. This was great fun to make. I'm very pleased with how it's come out, because I think it's come out again to the sort of standard that a shop bought one would be. But also I fitted it with a light, so I haven't put a stay alive on it, but when it's running along the light is fairly consistent. We come onto the station building, another new feature, passengers. We have passengers on the layout posed, along with some station crew, station staff as well. We have a car park. Since the last update 2 years ago, there was no car park for this station. This is fresh in fact, you can see some of it is still drying here. There we go. So I've just been sorting out this entrance to the car park as well. What's nice is if you do the spray down with water and then the 50-50 water glue mix over the top, it's very easy to break. So you can put it down with the buildings on, and then you can take the buildings away, and you have this rather lovely sort of thing that helps you get the buildings in the correct position each time. As we move on, we've got bushes down the side there, adding a bit of depth to the railway. This is new, so these buildings are not, they've been here this whole time, but they have had no scenery here at all. But now we have a street scene, so I'm currently working on this. I just need to dirty it up to pick out some of the details and just modify it slightly. Some of the detail is a bit lost. So if I just change the angle here, you can see these pavements and curbstones, and they're made with DAS modelling clay that is rolled flat, pressed with sandpaper, and then I just use a ruler to make the curbstones indents, and that worked really well. I just used 2 matchsticks, set 1.5 centimeters apart, and then I roll over the top of it to make them level with the matchsticks, and that gives me a nice section of pavement about that 2 matchsticks lengths that I can then put down in chunks. There we go. And if I remove the house, you can see that these have been cut to fit the shape of the house and then just painted grey to match the road. At some point, all of these buildings will have interiors. The only ones, apart from the guards, the signal box up there, this one has an interior too, but I've currently disconnected the lighting so you can't see it. The interior in that one is just made of card that I've just done a cream card and a red card for the Midland colours, and then just cut like the red card as a strip, stuck it to the cream one, folded it round, and then made a little bench out of some pieces of folded card. It doesn't look fancy, but it means that from when you're stood back, you can see there is an interior, and that's, you can't see in detail from this distance, so it doesn't need to be detailed. What I've got in the signal box up there is far more detailed than it needs to be. But yeah, so the plan is that all these buildings will have interiors. Maybe not that, because there's nothing in it. Put a light in it though, and then we've got the cattle shed up there. I'll definitely stick a light in that too. This was the original farm. Not a lot has happened with the farm other than just adding a couple of extra details like the trees and some bushes, and I'm just continually, as and when I think about it, I'm just adding a little bit here, a little bit there, just building them up. Most of my focus has been on getting this station platform done, and the reason that's taken so long is because I spent so much time fiddling about with actual trains as well, and also extending the line. So as we come round here, this was where the original Littleton station is. So this is now Littleton station. I've not decided on the name for this one. Firstly, it was going to be Littleton, but then I felt like I wanted to call it Old Common, and now I'm actually going to have an Oldland Common station, I've decided, so this will need another name instead. So I'm open to suggestions. They've got to be ones that are sort of like inspired after places I've been, so good luck at guessing where I've been. Now on Instagram I posted the pictures of me throwing my old layout here, so that was my second attempt at a layout. It had some serious issues with it. Mostly it was made of MDF, and it had not aged well and had begun to warp and sag, which meant the whole layout was then unrepairable. It couldn't be rectified, so it's gone, but I've recovered everything that I could from it. That's all in a box somewhere, and this is some new, some old track that is here temporarily, sort of recreating the layout as it was, with the exception that the siding at the back here is gone. So on here I've been collecting wagons. I'm now building up quite a random collection of wagons now. Quite a big collection of wagons. I think I'm kind of approaching it there. Almost every loco that I run on this layout has carriages to go with it, so they're all paired up. I've got lots of wagons and other bits that I've wanted, so they're all here. Now I'm kind of running out of ideas of locos and rolling stock to get. There are still some that I want to get, but that list is growing increasingly shorter, and as the price of models goes up, I'm actually turning my mind towards building the layout to actually run these models on. I've got nearly a full collection, I'd say, although that's probably not true. And I'm spending my money on the wood, the scenics, the materials, the buildings increasingly, instead of buying models, although I am still buying models. There's my Port of Bristol Authority. The chip burnt out on that. I'm just in the middle of replacing it. Just need to make sure it's behaving properly. This is a right faff to take apart and put back together. The space for that chip to go in is incredibly small. This is a success story. Now this track's not live, so I cannot demonstrate it, but now these wagons, they're like £8, great fun to make, and if you make them right, they look like they've come from the shop and that you haven't made it at all. I absolutely love my £50 airbrush that lets me paint wagons in a way like this. It has come to the rescue of so many models. Now this wagon here is fixed, permanently fixed to this pug. There's a clue there, there's a wire, so you can probably guess One of the issues with this pug is it is so susceptible to dead spots, and it stops and jitters and is generally a terrible runner. So I solved the issue by adding one of these dapole wagons, painting it up and adding wire to the wheels, because it comes with metal wheels and I didn't want to ruin a perfectly good model, so I built my own. And what's extra cool is this. So there's no space in the locomotive for a chip, but there is space in here for a HM7000 and speaker and stay alive. So guess what's going to happen to this pug? Yes, that's right, this pug is going to be a good pug, although it will effectively double the price of the model. Well, we won't talk about that. Also new to the collection, I have rare few Bachmann locomotives. However, my father told me that this was one of the engines that used to pull the trains when he was young, and I then found it and I bought it. It's awaiting a Next 18 chip. I did buy one, I put it in and it didn't like it at all, didn't work. Works fine on DC, did not respond to anything on DCC, so I'm currently waiting on a replacement chip. Hopefully that will solve it, and then this can join the rest of the models on the layout. As we go round, spoiler, this Halloween I'll be doing a video about how to make a corpse wagon. The video is already recorded, but I'll publish it later in October. So how I made that will be a video to look forward to. Church, that's new to the layout. There will be a hill there where we'll have a church, and we've got the gravestones at the back. So, I failed to point out, so the locos enter this tunnel from the platform and they go behind here, up there. So yeah, that's another solution to the tunnel issue. Obviously locomotives can derail in a tunnel, so in this one the tunnel just runs behind the back scene of a different station. The idea is that these are miles apart, they've got their separations, so there'll be a board there and then there'll be another board there. You'll either go from this platform round the back through the tunnel to that one, or through a smaller tunnel to this one. So this is just going to have like a station here, a little goods yard there. This pug is intended to live here and probably never leave, although I will probably run it around the whole railway. There we go, we can see the tunnels there. So there's a tunnel mouth there, that's for the branch line, and there's a tunnel mouth at the back for the main line. So this is a double main line, double track, not 4 track. As we come over here, we can see some further chaos. So it descends into more chaos still, and I am currently walking on this layout. Over here we've got the carriages from the triangle that was this Christmas. Santa bought me that from the Triangle Remembered one. That was a good model to have. I really wanted it because I wanted the Ginty without the weathering and with the old BR logo. It has been wired up and chipped, and it's currently paired with this. So I bought this ages ago. It's a Airfix suburban coach, brake coach, and I converted it into an auto coach because you cannot, unless you're modelling N gauge, you cannot get an LMS auto coach. As far as I know, only the GWR one is available. From you can get an old Airfix one, or the Hornby version, or Dapole version. I think there's a couple of others, but you cannot get an LMS one. So, but I bought that in mind of doing the conversion, and it just so happened somebody had done a guide how to do it in one of the magazines. And I just say I don't always buy the magazines. I bought it and then opened it up and realised what was in it. What I love is I managed to give it a fair amount of detailing in the cab, adding a brake handle. I gave it a back head. Inside the coach as well, there are passengers, there's luggage, so I've kind of filled it out. You can see like the shoulder of one of the children. It's decorated inside. What it needs is some lighting. There's the City of Bristol, the locomotive that this whole railway is based on. And as we come up here, so this is Monsell Station. As we come up here, we've got the spur for the branch line, and then the main line will carry on up through here, and it will pass underneath this chimney and up around the top of the loft and come all the way back down again. So this will be quite a large, it's 72 or 70-foot 6 double track loop all the way around the loft. Past the chimney stack thing there, as we go into that area, danger, out of order, as we go off there, that's where I will have a yard inspired by Bath Green Park. So it will have a turntable, the coal drop, the engine shed that you just saw there, and then loads of lanes, loads of roads on it to allow for storage of the locomotives and trains when they're not being used. So that's the idea. That's going to be that. Yeah, so that's where I am. Let's see, anecdotal fun stuff. So other bits I've been up to that's fun. That there is the Tornado. Let's see, where's my Flying Scotsman? There's my Flying Scotsman. There's my Bahamas, and there's Wimblebury. Now, what does all have in common? They've all been on the real ones. So that's something that I've came up with that is a bit of fun. Is if I can, I'll take a model that is in preservation and I'll take it to the real one, get it on there. So I've been fortunate enough to ride on the Flying Scotsman, and I took my Flying Scotsman on there, got a photograph of it, sat in the driver's in the cab as well, and I even got the and I either get the crew to sign the box on the crew that's working it on the day. I get them to sign the box or the ticket, and if I can, I'll sneakily ask for a little bit of coal, just a tiny bit. So I've done that, so I can have some real coal from that locomotive to put on the tender of my model. I just think that's a lovely little bit of fun. That's it for the tour. That's it for the update. I've covered most of the things that I've been up to. Future plans. So next steps are I need to wire up the track that I've put down, the new track that I've put down. So if it's not in an area that's got scenery on it, it's not wired. It's got no, so I've got to do the buses and the droppers for all of that. I'm going to push ahead with building the layout out to the other end of the loft. That means I've got to tidy up the loft. Ooh, I think I might find some stuff to bin, so that I can create the loop. I like shunting sidings and all the rest of it, but I've always been, I like watching trains go round in a big circle, or just any circle, in a circle. Currently I cannot do that, where I've got that. But this only works with the with non-DCC locos and DCC and DCC locos that work with DC. So in a fair few of my locomotives with HM7000s, they cannot be used on that track, and those are the ones, and of course I've prioritised the ones that I'm most interested and fascinated by. So it's sad that I cannot watch those trains go round and round. I mean, well, I could take a looper track down to the living room and put it on the rug, but I'm not going to mess up those locos doing that. So it's been forever since the city of Bristol has ran round in a circle, or any of the others that I've fitted with HM7000s. The turbo motive has never done a loop. So that's my future plans, are to start getting away, buying the wood I need to do the struts, the supporting beams, whatever you want to call it, and the baseboards, and then buy some track to place on it to connect up, so that I have a loop and can run trains around in a loop. And also it will mean I can run trains up that end of the loft and stow them there on that track, freeing up this end for me to actually do the scenery and the wiring on, so I can get them out the way properly. At the moment, the only way to put stuff away properly is to put it in a box, and that's when I tend to break things, is when I'm handling them. I prefer to put my locomotives on my layout and play with them on the layout and not touch them, because I am clumsy. And that's also why I buy slightly older locomotives. Turbo motives like the newest thing that I've got, and I'm dead scared of touching it because I'm so worried about breaking the little pieces on it. I did nearly crash it. I did nearly crash it the day I got it. Yeah. Oh, look at the little lights on in Bud's van. I just need to be careful with that, because those bulbs, they get incredibly hot. I haven't put any, they get very, very hot. Oh, another little something. Oh, it's not here. Oh, right, I'll say that for another video. Yeah. So I hope you like that layout update. There's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot to buy. There's always a lot to buy. Always find something. But yeah, take care, and I'll leave you with some footage of the trains doing what they do.